Our lives are defined by the way we see the world. So let's reimagine, reimagine, and reimagine again.
Imagine with me for a moment a world as peaceful and loving as you can. What do we think that world would say about what it means to be a real man? When I was young, I heard the mighty tales of mighty warriors in their crusades, the superheroes saving the world in their uniforms and capes. I want to be a hero, Mom. I could fly up in the clouds. Hey, Dad, look what I could do. Doesn't it make you proud? They cheered me as I beat up the bad guys and put them all in jail. As long as I have my superpowers, I will never, ever fail. And then one day too soon, I learned I didn't have those superpowers. And that cape was just a piece of cloth. Man, I cried for hours. As I grew up, I was determined to achieve my aspirations. I had to find another way to feel those celebrations. Because that shade of insignificance is where no one wants to be, where they laugh at you, call you names. And that's if they even see who you are at all. The worst pain is being invisible, a nobody, a nothing, not mattering, unmissable. So I step into the light and heroically claim to be invincible. I slap on all my warrior paint and hope that it's unrinsable. I strap on all my armor and I hope that it's unbreakable. I scream out loud, I'm brave, and pray to God it's fakeable. The crusade that I'm now fighting is no longer just to win. My rejection fear is thriving, and I'm desperate to fit in. So I put on a different costume of toughness and perfection. But through the years, I lost who I really am. It's all projection. I'm doing everything I can with everything I got to confirm I really am a man. Please don't say I'm not. I'm willing to prove myself to you. I'm down to play that game. I'm willing to lose myself for you because it's better than the shame. It doesn't matter the fee I have to pay to avoid emasculation. And I'd rather be a not version of me if it means your validation. Now, the man rules they taught me were simple, though. All I got to do is win. Only all the time. Every time. Because losing is a sin. Oh yeah, and I can't have any fears or be a girl or show I'm weak. They said they better not catch any shameful tears sliding down my cheek. Because if you do, you're out, they said. You'll be a liability. Being vulnerable is the quickest way to lose our credibility. You better keep that macho armor on. It's the only way to be tough. And we're watching you. This game never ends until you prove to us you're enough. And so I birthed my alter ego. Wherever I go, he goes altered. A Superman disguise in case the real me ever faltered. But over time, my cloud of self-delusion changed the plan. The man of steel illusion began to steal the man. I sealed myself inside but paid the price of preservation. The shield I built to hide was a device of self-castration. I rip off the hero clothes I was convinced would give me flight. And I learned that all along, I wore a cape of kryptonite. because I doubted that the real me was a man worth celebrating. I built a masculine facade that was itself emasculating. So what do you do when you learn that the solution is the problem? You tear the whole thing down. That's what starting at the bottom. Because what if being man enough was actually not a spectrum? And what if a man's transparency would actually not infect him? And what if a man could lose and actually retain his admiration? And what if those tear-filled cheeks could actually lead to liberation? And what if being a man didn't mean taking other people to task? And what if being a man didn't mean finding courage in a flask? And what if being masculine didn't mean hiding behind a mask? And what if being a real man meant that it's okay to ask for some help, for a hug, or just for someone's ear? A safe space to be open, transparent, and sincere. And what if being a man didn't mean controlling what everyone's seeing? And what if being a real man was just a man being? Rigid with our commitment to provision and protection. Expressive with our emotions for powerful connection. Authentic with our humanity, being flawed and letting it show. And loving with everything we do and everyone we know. Rigid, expressive, authentic, and loving. That's a man being real. And the only way to gain their trust is by showing them that we feel. The only way to claim our truth is by losing the disguise. And we don't need that booth. The Superman inside can rise. The strength of a gorilla without beating on our chests, though. The honor of a champion without always being the best, though. The respect of a 5-star general while sometimes being a mess, though. I think the time has come for a real man's manifesto. A real man knows the healing power of sacred vulnerability. He has the courage to be afraid and conquers anger with humility. A real man is raw, genuine, and transparent. He knows his masculinity isn't proven, it's inherent. A real man is emotional and lets his feelings flow. He's not concerned with losing status if he lets his feelings show. A real man knows his strength will never come from being violent. He honors self-control and the wisdom of being silent. A real man faces, embraces, and releases his own pain instead of projecting it, deflecting it, or misdirecting it in vain. A real man doesn't need to chase approval from his peers. His voice of inner truth is the most important one he hears. A real man finds value in protecting and providing. He spends his time and energy connecting, not dividing. A real man isn't threatened by the differences in others, race, religion, sexuality. They're our sisters and our brothers. A real man gains no pleasure from seeing other people smudged. He's committed to a life well lived and loved, more than a life well judged. And a real man knows the difference between respect and intimidation. He knows that his integrity is the most powerful punctuation. So the bravest thing we have to do, the highest mountain we have to climb, is dropping all the nonsense and flipping this paradigm. You don't need to man up. It's not a sliding scale. You're a man because you're a man because you were born a male. And masculine is an energy. It's not a judgment or a decision. And vulnerable is not the enemy, but the ticket out of mental prison. So imagine with me for a moment a world as peaceful and loving as you can, where the definition of a real hero is just a man being a man. Thank you.